first Periscope.
Hi guys.
That is my son York. So I'm sorry I look a hot mess and I'm on my couch editing, but I'm going to show you guys how to do a newborn edit from start to finish. So this is the photo we are going to be using for, can you guys see that? Okay, so let me open this. I know, he was so precious. This is my second shooter that I use for weddings. This was her baby. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it into Photoshop. Well, first, I probably should. Okay, so all I did in Lightroom was I upped the exposure a little bit, corrected some white balance, increased my shadows. I guess I should show you guys how I did that. What do you have under the bait? Rolled up towels. I just stuffed them under him. Actually, he was sitting more like this, flat, and then I just turned my camera and got that shot. Okay, so you'll probably hear Team Umi Zoomy in the background. My son's watching that. Okay, so I'm going to increase the shadows just slightly. Up the exposure just a little. I always drop my whites and my highlights to make it a little softer. And thanks for all the hearts. And I up the clarity just slightly. Okay, then I go to, let's see if I can pull back. Then I go to lens correction because I use my 35mm, which kind of distorts it a little. And I click this enable profile corrections. And all it does is, you see how it just makes the distortion a little better. Okay. Then, oh, I'll open it. Hang on. Hang on just a second, guys. Okay, here you are. Okay, then I will open this in Photoshop now. All right. And feel free to ask questions along the way if I'm going too fast, if I'm not going fast enough. You guys just let me know. First time periscoping. Okay, so we have our, hang on. We have our picture in Photoshop. Oh, awesome. I remember my first time watching. It was addicting, and now I watch all the time. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is the skin. I'm going to use frequency separation. Have any of y'all heard of that before? Most of you probably have, but just in case you haven't, I'll kind of explain it if you need me to. Okay, so what you do is, I need to push this back a little. Hang on just a second. I need to push my table back just a little bit so that you guys can see it better. Okay, so the where I learned to use it was this tutorial called, it was by Flern, and he gave me a step-by-step of how to get it started. So I'll kind of give you a short frequency separation. You are going to create 2 layers. So just Command J on a Mac. I'm not sure what it is on Windows. So I'm trying to get this. It's really bright. Okay, so we're going to Command J for 2 layers. You are going to Okay, so Control J for Windows. Then you're going, no, don't press the keys, thank you. So then you're going to hide this top layer and work with this layer 1 first. Okay, then you are going to create a Gaussian blur. So you go up to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur. And I made a keyboard shortcut for this so that it's a lot easier for me to get to it. So you click Gaussian blur, and that's going to pull up this. So I zoom in. This is hard to do holding a camera. All right. So Gaussian blur. Can you see that? It looks blurry. Okay. And you're going to bring this all the way down. And I always go for the eyelashes. That's what I like to use as my source. And you up the radius just a little until like those eyelashes kind of disappear. What you're doing is taking away detail on this layer, and then you're going to apply the image on the next layer, and it will allow you to work with the skin without losing detail. So that's what's so awesome about frequency separation. Okay, so I'm gonna up it to about a 3.1. That looks good. Okay, then you're going to unhide that layer. Click on that layer because you're going to be using that layer. Then you're going to go to Image, Apply Image. Okay, so mine's already set up, but what you're going to want is for the channel to be RGB. You're going to want the blending to be on Subtract, Opacity 100%, Scale at 2, Offset at 128. And then this layer right here, you're going to want it to be layer 1. And your image is going to kind of look like that. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. And then you go to that same layer you're working on and go up to this, and you're going to change it to linear light. And then your photo comes back. Okay, so now we can get to making this skin look a little bit yummier, like a newborn's skin. Okay, so we're going to click on layer 1. That's the layer we're going to work with. And you're going to use the lasso tool up here. Click that lasso tool. And you're going to want to make the feather up top at about 20 to 22-ish. Okay, so I always start on the face. This is exactly how I do every single face. And it may be wrong, but it works for me. Okay, so you're just going to kind of outline this little T-zone area. And come down the nose. Just like that. Okay. So you can see that's what I have selected. All right. Now you're going to do the Gaussian blur, and it's just going to blur everything in this area right here. It's just going to blur everything in this area right here, but it's not going to lose the detail. You're going to have the blur without losing detail. So let me just do the Gaussian blur. All right. And then maybe if I turn my brightness down on my screen, that would help. Okay. So I'm going to do this radius at about a, it doesn't necessarily blur the tones. It just takes away the imperfections in the skin. I guess a little bit of tone. I don't know the correct terminology on it. But it does help with the coloring just a little bit. But I'll work on coloring once I do the separation, frequency separation. This kind of takes out those fine lines, and it's really good for acne, that sort of thing. Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna blur it at about a 6.4. That looks good, and it'll be different for every photo which radius you use. Okay, so that looks good. So then I work on the little eyelids, and if you click Command F, it will do the Gaussian blur at the exact same radius that you previously did it at. Okay, so then I go to get, you guys see this, this line right here under the eye, the little bags. He doesn't have them really bad, but some babies do, and that really helps with that. So I just go around and do under the eye, and this little dark spot, it helps with that right there too. Okay, so I did that one at about a 7.2. So I'll show you kind of like a preview of it. Okay, so that's what the skin looked like before. And then this is what it looks like with the Gaussian blur, with the frequency separation. So, really does do wonders. All right, so I'm just gonna do this real quick since I kind of ran through what I use. Okay, and then I go right on the little, and you don't want to go over the lines of the face. You see how I'm avoiding the nose and the lips, because you don't want to take away too much from those. Those are the, you know, a lot of the focal points of the face. So I just do this to the skin. Do you do each section of the face separately? Yes. There is a program called Portraiture that really good. I know his lips were delicious. That a friend of mine showed me, but I haven't splurged and bought that yet. Okay, so for the arms and the body, I usually bring the radius up a bit on that. Can you guys see the difference there? Okay. Yes, my 2-year-old is not in bed yet, if y'all can hear him. I'm really considering buying it because it will take out a lot of time, but I am a control freak and I need to do and I need to have complete control over every tiny inch, and I think it just is like a blanket over the image, and I don't know how I would like that. I need to play with it before I buy it, that's for sure. I don't use any actions. I know that sounds crazy as a newborn photographer, but I don't use any actions. I do everything. Maybe it's because I should know more about Photoshop than I really do, especially if I'm teaching others. But I know it works for me. Okay, so. All right, that looks really good now. Let me back out so you guys can see. Okay, so how great is that? Let's see. This was before. Yeah, I don't use any actions. I never have used any actions in Photoshop. All right. So now we're going to get rid of the redness. You know, those splotch, the red splotches on blotchiness, whatever that word is. On baby, like right here, and there's always some by the nose, and feet are always a big one, you know, and hands, they're always blue or red. So we're going to take that away now. So what you do for that is if you go down, this is an easy way to get to it. If you go down to where your layers are, I know I'm like moving all over the place. It's not easy to do this holding a phone. Did I use posers? Towels. I always use rolled up towels. Like whenever I get out of the shower, there's never any towels in my linen closet because they're all upstairs in my studio. Okay, so you're gonna do a, click this little circle right here, and you're gonna do hue saturation, and all that does, oh wait, sorry. I don't know, I forgot to merge these layers. I don't know if you're supposed to merge layers as you go, or I don't know, all of those. But anyways, okay, so hue saturation. Okay, so you're going to, it brings this up, and you're going to, where it says master, go to reds. You're going to click the little dropper and click on the reddest part of your face. So I think it's like this nose area right here. It's really red. Okay, so then you're going to take the hue slider and slide it all the way over. Am I going too fast for you guys? If I'm going too fast, I can slow down. Yes, I will. I guess it automatically goes to replay. I'm not sure. It's my first time scoping, but I will try to get it there if it doesn't automatically. I don't know how that works. Let me move this down. There we go. Okay, so when you push your hue saturation all the way over, you are going to go down to this slider and move it to the left. See, baby's all blue now after we moved the hue saturation slider over here. See, once we move that hue saturation slider over, it made baby all blue, which is okay. We will fix that. Okay, so then you're going to take this little slider right here and move it to the left until the green and bluish colors are only on the red splotches. So about there. Okay, so now that's the areas that it's going to fix. So you're going to go back over to the panel and take the hue slider and bring it all the way back. Okay, and then you're going to slide it over to somewhere between 1 and 15 until you achieve, I'll show you what it looks like close up, until you achieve the color that you want. So I think about there, maybe at a 14 looks good. Okay, and then I bring this lightness slider up just a tad. What happened? What happened? You want me to kiss it? Okay. Your elbow and your finger? Ouch. All better. Your hand? Okay. I got it. You're welcome. Sorry, guys. Okay. So you notice that it will take all the redness out of the lips as well, and I hate that. So what we're going to do now is click on the mask and get your brush. You're going to have a really small brush. Let me zoom in. Okay, and you want to make sure you are working with the black, the foreground. All right, and you're just going to brush over the lips to bring some of that red back into the lips, just so they're not flat. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thanks, Courtney. Guys, Courtney is one of the girls that I mentored before. She lives in the same area as me. Okay. So that's the hue saturation layer. That's how you get rid of all of those blotches. Oh, I am in Mobile, Alabama, if you can't tell from my country talking. I hate my accent. Okay, so this was before the hue saturation layer. After. Yes, we'll be on replay. Before, after. Yes, it's not much, it's small, but that's where our family is. Okay, so let me merge these layers. All right, so now I want to do a little sharpening. So I zoom in real close to baby's face, and I get the sharpen tool over here. I don't even know if this is how you should do it, but it works for me. And my strength is really low. It's only at like a 6%. So I go over baby's little eyelashes and his eyes, over here on this one, and then around the little nose area and those lips. All right, so now that those are sharpened, it'll just pop a little more. Okay, so now I'm going to do the blanket, because you can see I didn't have the blanket in the entire frame. This is one of my crates that I used to photograph babies in, and I used it to hold my posing fabric. Yes, I don't use any actions, so it's really helpful. But I don't know, I think sometimes maybe actions might make it a little bit faster to edit, and I go really fast. I can edit a newborn, like this photo I edited in maybe 10 minutes. So if you're, you know, doing a gallery with 20 images, you can knock out a session, editing a session in about an hour or two. So it's not bad at all. Okay, so the blanket. I don't know why it's doing this, guys. Hang on. Let's see. I just want it to... Okay, there we go. So, to get... What I use for smoothing the blanket is a gradient layer. But first, because I have all of this, I'm just going to do a little bit of cloning and patching and stuff just to get that around the same color as the rest of the blanket. So, I'm going to use... Actually, I think I'm going to use my lasso tool. What do you have? Oh, a receipt. Okay, you're fine. And I'm going to select this area right here. Okay. And I'm going to layer via copy and just move it over. Okay. And then I'm going to do that again down at the bottom. But I'm going to use this area. Okay, layer via copy. And I'm just going to drag. Uh-oh, I did that wrong. This happens a lot. Okay. Lasso, layer via copy. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to turn it just a little bit so I can get all, maybe even stretch it a little. Just so I can get it all in there. Okay, that looks good. I know it looks a little wonky right now, but I promise it will be fixed. Okay, so then I'm going to do a gradient layer. So you go to, I want to make it where you guys can see where I'm going. I'm going to go to this right here, this little tool. Can you see that? I don't know why my phone isn't focusing. Should probably use my iPad for this. Okay, this little tool right here. It's above sharpening. I learn by watching other Periscopes, YouTube. I went to the school of Google and YouTube. And I have a wonderful photographer that's local. She's a great friend of mine. She's a newborn photographer, and she has taught me so much, and I've taught her so much, and we just share info with each other and help each other get better, and it's just been the most amazing thing in my career. Okay, so now that you have the gradient tool selected, you want to make another layer. So Command J, make another layer. You're gonna select, you're gonna go to the little color picker thing. Okay, and you want to pick something for the foreground that's light in the image, a color that's light in here, and then you're gonna want to pick a color that's dark in here. And I'll show you why. So a color that's light in here is probably right here, maybe, or here. No, more right here, more right, I don't know, I'll fix it. Oh, there we go. That looks about right. I don't know why it keeps going in and out, in and out. Okay, so now that I have my foreground, now let's do the background. The background. And so I'm going to use this color down here because it's darker. Okay. Can you please stop doing an airplane on my head? Alright, and your opacity is going to be at, I don't know why I have mine at 13%, but that's what I have it at. So you want it to be pretty low. Alright, so now I'm starting with the lighter color. So you're going to drag, I'm going to pull out so you guys can see. If I flip my phone this way, does it flip everything for all of you guys? Does it make everything sideways? Yes, no? It's right. Okay. Whew. You have to flip too. Okay. Is it aggravating? You want me to go back? Ouch. What'd you hurt? Your fingers hurt? Here, I'll kiss it. Okay. Let me kiss his finger. Oh, guys, hang on. Let me start over. Team Umizoomi. So we can finish. I don't know what I would do without Team Umizoomi. Okay. All right. So you're going to start up here because you see my light was to the left of so it's going to be brighter on the left and darker on the right. So you're going to start with the light layer. Zoom in just a touch. This better? Okay. So you're going to drag the gradient over until, and you're going to keep doing that in all directions until the blanket is, you can't see the wrinkles anymore in the blanket. And I just play with it really until I decide what I like. It's so hard to do this holding a phone one-handed. I need to find like a stand or something. So you just keep doing it. And you probably could, if I up my opacity, I probably could save myself a little time, but I usually go really fast with it. I'm almost there. Okay, then I'm gonna switch to my foreground, which is the darker color, and I'm gonna come in from the other side. Just to give it a little depth. Let me go back and do that again. I'm going to go back with my lighter color because it's gotten a little bit dark. Does that up the opacity? My computer's thinking, guys. Okay, so that looks pretty good. There's still a little bit of shadows right here where I cloned, but I'll go in and fix that in just a minute. So this was before gradient, after, and I'm going to create a mask on that gradient layer. And get a brush. Let me zoom in. Okay. Make your brush a little bit bigger. And you're just going to kind of make, I have it at 70% opacity right now because I don't want it to be too harsh. So you're just going to brush it off of baby. Make this a little bigger. Here we go. So I'm brushing. And you want to get a little bit of this shadowing right here on the blanket. So it does look like he's actually, you know, laying on a blanket. Okay. And I always like to hit the slash, the backslash, to kind of see what I have masked. Okay. So now I'm going to make an even bigger brush and put my opacity at like a 10. Let me zoom out. Hang on. And I'm just going to ever so slightly go around him because I want a little bit of the, sorry that I'm all over the place. This is not easy to do. I know I keep saying that. Okay, so I want to have a little bit of these little shadows right here and right here and right here. But all in all, that looks pretty good for a quick edit. Yeah, I love the gradient. Like, it's just, because if you zoom in, you can still see all of that detail in the fabric, but when you go over just a little bit, it slowly fades away. Oh yeah, you'll love gradient for sure. Is it a girl or a boy newborn? Okay. Oh, I love boys. I have 2 boys, so I'm partial to boys. All right, so now that we have our gradient layer, I still have a little bit of that needs to be fixed over here where I clone, where I did the lasso. So I'm going to, oh wow, I do love girls though, because you get to use so many more colors and headbands and bonnets, and but I love my voice too. I want a girl so bad I could taste it, but that'll probably not happen. I want a girl for myself. All right, so I'm going to use a patch tool. The patch tool. I'm going to use the, hang on, let it focus. Yeah, I'm kind of torn. I'm a girly girl sometimes, and then I think it's just the computer. And then I'm a tomboy sometimes, so it all depends. Okay, so I'm going to use where it says patch tool, and I'm going to select that area that is dark and just drag it over. And voila, fix that. My screen's a little dirty. Fix that. Okay. I love photography. Is there a website I can go to? What do you mean? Like, do I have like a tutorial? I don't have a tutorial, but if there's interest for one, I could definitely do one. Okay, so there is the backdrop that is completely finished, but the only thing that's left is a little bit of his hair right here. It's bothering me because his face was kind of smashed, and I'm using Microsoft or Word. I'm using a Mac, and I'm using Photoshop. to edit this. Okay, so now I'm going to go into, I'm going to use a clone, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to clone this a little. So, what if I prop this up right here? I don't know how I can prop this up. I have I'll pull back so you can see. It's in my living room. I edited in my living room. It's the 27-inch iMac. And I love it. Yes, it is amazing. Once you go Mac, you'll never go back. Okay, so option. I don't know how I'm going to do this. All right, so option, click that as my source, and then I don't want it at 100. I want it at like, yes, Macs are amazing. I started with a MacBook Pro, and it just did not get the job done for me. I'm going to patch this since it's a little bit lighter than I'd like. There we go. That brought it back down. Okay, so now I'm going to go into liquify. So filter, liquify, and let me zoom in a little and make my brush smaller. And I'm just going to pull that little area in where his little head was. And it kind of looks like there was a dent in his head right there, but there's not. It's just probably the angle. So I'm going to pull that out just a little. Okay. Yeah, the Mac was my first big purchase last year whenever I started photography. All right, so that was before liquify. After, I always love doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of sharpen where I sharpen the eyes. This is what I do to kind of make all of my eyes pop. You create a layer, then you go to the burn tool, and my exposure is at a 4. Let me zoom in. Oh, that's too far. Let me zoom out. It's hard to zoom. Okay. So I take this little bitty brush, and I'm just going to kind of darken the eyelid crease. And I just go over it as many times. And I just kind of, and this is especially if you don't get a very sharp focus, which my 35mm tends to, you know, be a little softer because it's a wider angle. So I just go over the little lashes. And this has really helped me, doing this has really helped me to save a lot of images that aren't exactly sharp. Okay, then I'll go around the nose area once and all the little dark areas. I know it seems like it's taking me forever, but this goes a lot faster once you get a good workflow down. Okay, so now I'm going to do my dodge tool, and the exposure is at a 6. So I just lighten this little area up right here. This little area. Okay, this area right here, and then just over the lips. Alright, so I don't know if you'll be able to see on the phone, but that was before, after. So it just kind of brightens his little face up a bit. Let me zoom back out. Alright, that was a newborn edit. So we started here and ended here. So, to answer them or anything that you want me to do on another scope, or if you like the scope, or if you didn't like it and I was annoying and I said too many. What I can do for next time, or if you have any questions about any of the things that I did for this edit. All right, well, I will definitely be posting another Periscope, but I'm going to get a phone stand for next time because that was hard. So anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.